Okay, so if there's one thing you're gonna discover very, very quick if you're out there being a professional shooter, is that cameras and lenses are really, really important. But if you come back with terrible sound, you've pretty much ruined the day. So you can't scrimp when it comes to sound capture. And if you're a content creator starting out, that means that you're gonna be in the search for something that delivers good quality, and more important, it doesn't break the bank. Now, recently, one of my favorite companies, Godox, reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at this. This is the Movelink M2. It's a 2.4 gigahertz wireless microphone system. Now, it bills itself as being a content creator tool, but it comes with some really, really great features and packs some cool things in the kit that I think makes it really, really applicable for commercial applications as well, if that's something you're looking at growing into eventually down the road. Now, one note about the Godox brand that I would like to point out is I actually have a lot of Godox equipment that I bought with my own money. No one has asked me to do it, and they have held up great. I have a ton of Godox lights. They have been on countless sets. They've gotten beaten up. They've never let me down, and they've always been reliable. So I know if the Godox brand is associated with something, I know it's going to be affordable, and I know it's going to be really, really sturdy. So those are two things that I really like to know in a brand when I'm dealing with it. Now, keeping in the tradition of a brand that packs a lot of value in a very, very good system, this system comes with a lot of stuff in it. Now, the first thing you need to know is that this thing comes at a great price. It's only $199, and honestly, you can get it on sale for $159 all over the place. So it just packs a ton of stuff for less than $200. And here's the thing, when you look at this system comes out of the box. You've got 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. And this is really, really awesome because it lets you be in a situation, let's say you need to do a multi-person interview, boom, you've got one system there in there. Or let's say you're taking a long day, maybe something goes, maybe, hey, you lose a transmitter or something. It's just nice having a backup when you're out there in the field. And all of it fits in this nice little carrying case right here. And this carrying case not only stores them, but there's a USB-B plug in here. And if you put this USB-C in there, you can charge all 3 of these at once. So there's one cable, charges all 3 of them. It's a really, really nice feature to have. Makes it really, really compact and easy to run out there in the field. Now, there is one last note to know about this carrying case. While you can charge all the things at 3 at once, this will not charge your things away from a charging point. So this isn't a battery system in there. It's just something to hold and charge your system. Now, the kit also comes with a TRS to TRS cable, so you can plug this directly into your camera, which is really helpful. I love that. If you're an iPhone shooter, it also comes with this nice TRS to TRRS cable to plug directly in your smartphone. It's kind of got this nice red cable. And I like how these 2 cables are color different, so if you're in your bag, you know which one to bring based on that. So it's really, really helpful. One other really nice thing that this comes with is these little Godox magnets. And what's cool is the back of these are magnetic. So let's say I have a t-shirt here and I don't want to mess up the hemline of my neck. Check this out. I can put that on there, and now this will sit there on magnetically if I don't want to use the clip that comes with the transmitter. A really, really nice touch. In addition to that, you get 2 really, really sturdy and powerful windscreens. And these things I've been really impressed with. You put these things on the front of them, they're big, but they will block the sound if you're out there in a windy environment. So as you can see, this kit comes with a ton of features, but I haven't even talked about my favorite. And I can't believe that for something this price, you get this in the system. It actually comes with not 1, but 2 wired lavalier mics. And what's great about this is now you can take this system like this, you can plug your lavalier in, and now you have a much, much more discreet lavalier system you can put on there if you want to get this. This takes the flexibility of this system and makes it from being just a pure vlogging microphone that now you can take it and actually use it in certain commercial applications, because this is much, much more discreet and much, much more professional than this. So this is something, you get 2 of them. So let's say you're doing an interview, maybe you're interviewing 2 people at once. Having this automatically takes the versatility of this and shoots it through the roof. So I was actually unbelievably excited when I saw this, because most vlogging microphones that I've come across don't even have a port at the top to put a microphone in, much less include it. And for this price, man, this just really, really made it a great feel, in my opinion. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this transmitter, because these things come with a actually really, really nice battery life built into them. They have a 6-hour charge that you can take once you have this thing fully up. And then you have the charging case in there. You can charge all these things on break really, really easy. Now, the transmitter itself is a really nice compact size with a kind of nice, easy to see, intuitive LCD screen. And this is about the same size as a Rode wireless mic system. So if you've used those in the past, you're gonna feel right at home with this. And speaking of the clip here, this is a good, strong clip. I can easily get this on my photo vest or go any kind of shirt or tie that I might need. And what I said before, the back of this is magnetic. So now you can use these Godox magnets if you need to put it on something that maybe is behind a clothes. You don't want to basically screw up the neckline of a t-shirt. These magnets give you that flexibility and freedom to take care of that. Now the buttons on this thing are very, very straightforward. You have a power button as well as a mute button. And if you look right here, you can easily click the mute and on off. This is actually fantastic for bathroom runs. And honestly, there's just sometimes you want to be able to mute your microphone. On the other side of it, you have a pairing button, which will allow you to pair stuff. But if you look underneath the pairing button, it says DNR. That allows you to hit a dynamic noise resistance on this microphone. So if you're in a really noisy place, you can do that and put it on there. Now, the top of the mic is pretty straightforward. You have a microphone, which is fantastic. That lets you do these run and gun vlogging things, which you're gonna use these a ton for. But it also has a jack for your microphone. And that means you can take your lavalier, plug it right in, and you are going to be good to go. And this is in my opinion, one of my favorite things to have on this because I will use that all the time when I'm out there on set because sometimes I just don't want to have this big thing. I just want to be a little more discreet and use this little tiny microphone instead. Now the receiver also falls right in line with the transmitter. As you can see, they're the exact same form function, so they look exactly the same. It has a power button, it has a pairing button, and it has a channel select. Now the cool thing about this pairing button, if you look underneath it, it actually has a stereo and mono button as well. So if you're in a situation where you're recording two people separately and you want to record each channel separately, you can click on that. Or if you want to blend them together, you can click the stereo button. So having that option in the field is actually a really, really nice field to have. Now on the other side, you do have a plus minus button, which lets you get 16 stops of gain. And really what's great about this is this little system lets you go that whole 16 stops to dial in the voices that you need. So you can really try and avoid that peaking. And I found this flexibility really nice because most lavalier systems that I found in this range don't even come close to having that many stops of being able to dial in and get the sound exactly the way you want. But anyway, now that I've talked about this, I do want to get to the sound of this in the camera. So I'm using a shotgun mic right now. I'm going to talk and I'm going to switch this over now to the lavalier mic so you can hear the difference in the sound quality. And boom, here you go. Now I'm wearing this wireless system. And you can see just the freedom that a wireless system has. I know when I'm talking, I like to look around, I tend to be in different places, and let's be honest, I'm Latin, so that means I have a lot of energy and I'm rather effusive when I talk. So having the freedom of having this follows me around and gives me a lot of freedom. And as you can see, this is all coming from the onboard mic there. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the lavalier mic just so you can see the difference in that too. Voila, now I have my lavalier mic on there. And you can see this is obviously a much more subtle and discreet way of shooting rather than having the big vlogging thing. And all that being said, I'm in a studio. The real test for any system, in my opinion, is to go outside and check it in a real world environment. So let's go outside and check this thing outdoors. Okay, so now I'm out here with the Godox Movelink M2, and this is a very important way to test any kind of wireless lavalier mic you need to get, because you need to come outside and see how it handles in the environment. You need to check out wind noise. The thing we want to check out is distance. Now, as you can see here, I do have the windscreen that comes with the Movelink, and I'll pull out the second unit. This is actually a very, very solid windscreen. It's big, but look at this. It is on there really, really tight. I mean, I'm suspending the whole thing by it. And one thing you'll find with a lot, especially the budget microphones, is the windscreen is terrible. They fall off, they get lost. This sits on there really, really solid. It's not coming off. The other thing it's really good at is it is really good at blocking these wind gusts. I mean, you can look around me, you can see the trees blowing today, and this does a really, really good job of blocking it. Even if I blow right into it, even the direct blowing in, it still does a pretty good job of muffling and dealing with the sound. Now, one thing about this mic is it does say it has a 50-meter range. So if you look at those trees behind me, that's 50 meters behind me. I'm gonna go back there. Let's see if this thing actually does do the 50-meter range. Okay, so here I am 50 meters out. I have measured this on Google Earth, and this is a 50 meters to this tree line. The 50 meters, if you're not used to the metric system, that's 164 feet. So obviously this thing can go that far, and the question is, why would you need a lavalier mic to go that far? I mean, what's the point? Who's ever gonna shoot that far? Well, really the big thing comes down to this, is it's not just distance, it's also, in your inside, you may be a lot closer, but if you have obstacles, building materials, other things like that, you want a lavalier mic that can punch through some stuff. So having that kind of distance range is really, really important and a really, really nice thing to have. So I would say, you know, when you're in the process of trying to figure out a vlogging mic, you want to know that it can go the distance. And 50 meters I find to be a very good, reasonable range. I don't really find myself using these type of mics any further than that. So this puts us at a good thing with such a good price point. Gives us a good punch because you know you got some power going out there to the lavalier mic. Now, in addition to the distance test, the other thing I want to check out is I actually want to take the lavalier microphone that comes with this kit and check out how this little windscreen that comes on the mic does in an outdoor environment. Because there's going to be a lot of times if I'm filming that maybe I don't want to see the big bulky receiver. I want something that's much more discreet like this. So let's go ahead and put this out there, do a quick test outside and see how that looks. All right, so here you go. This is it with the lavalier mic that comes with the system. You can see how much more discreet this is than having the transmitter attached to your body, whether through the magnet or the clip. Now, I haven't made any attempt to hide this cable, but that's certainly something that's very, very easy to do. I'm just trying to go for speed here. But it's so nice to have this kind of streamlined option in a system that comes with this. Now, this does have a popper on top of it. It's not really designed to deal with wind. It is fairly brisk out here, so I'll be interested to see how the wind does with this. This is mostly designed for pops and, you know, popping sounds, but it's also good to have something like that out here in an environment. Now, there is one other thing I would like to test while I'm outside, and that is a noise reduction system that comes with this transmitter. So I'm gonna pop this out right here, and on the pair side, there's a button that says pair, and there's a DNR under there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna keep talking, I'm gonna hit this button, and let's see how it reduces the noise, and more importantly, how it makes my voice sound in that thing. So I'm talking now, test 1, 2, 3, test 1, 2, 3. Now it is on, now it is on. I have the noise reduction on. I'm going to cut it off. Now the noise reduction is off. It is off now. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Back on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. And now it is off again. There you go. So you can see how the noise reduction can deal with these kind of ambient noises, but also you have to decide if that loss of noise reduction in this transmitter is something that you're going to affect the quality of the voice. So maybe that's something you want to clean up in post, or it's something you want to do in camera out in the field. It really just depends on what you are comfortable working with. But that's really the thing about a wireless microphone system like this. You can't really test it until you come out in kind of a less than ideal situation like this and see what it can do. Okay, so now we're back here in the studio, and as you can see, this kit is really impressive. It really holds up really well out there, and it's really, really got a nice bang for your buck. Now, that being said, it is not a perfect system. No system is, and I always like to point out a couple of drawbacks or cons just in case you're considering this so you're fully aware of what there is. Now, one of the pros of this system also leads to one of its cons, and that is this. This kit has a ton of extras that come with it. All the cables, the lavalier mics, all that. But the problem is they do not all fit inside this carry case. There's no extra little handle here or bag to put everything. So you are going to need to get an extra bag or case to hold all the extra cables. It's just something you need to be aware of. The other con that I would say of this carrying case is awesome, but it doesn't charge your mics out in the field. There's no battery. So not having the battery and not being able to charge in the field it's not a huge deal breaker, especially most of us don't need that. But if it's something that you find yourself out in the field in like the Utah desert for 3 days at a time, you may want to have that. But for the most things, this will be good, but it is something you should be aware of if you're going to be using this as a vlogging mic. But now all that being said, I really still think this is a very, very solid system. And my final verdict on this is that really for this price point at less than $200 and all the things you get, this is a really hard system to beat in this price point. I haven't found many things that can do everything this thing can do at that price point. And really my favorite part about the system, honestly, is the fact that this is scalable. That means you can buy it now as a good affordable system to use for vlogging. You can have that fast clip-on mic or the magnets to go and get fast vlogging, but it's got enough cool features that as you grow as a creator, the flexibility and power of it means that it can grow with you. That means you're not going to outgrow it super fast, because you can take this now to do the fast vlogging things, but as you get some commercial work and interviews, it can grow with you into that. And that, for me, that flexibility to grow as you grow is something that makes it a great deal and something that I think would really, really help you if you're out there looking to go in this direction. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say with this. Please leave me notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, talk to you soon.